and then he comes out and they like build up, like you see his profile, like you think it's going to be like an important thing, and then he comes out and hits him. He's like, "Oh, I just locked that out of Fenway Park," and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? Stop it!
I'll give you that.
Stop it!
You sound like Mickey Mouse right there.
Hey, fellas, I just bashed his fucking skull in." Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We are your hosts. I'm Jay.
I'm Matt.
I'm Coop.
This is episode 78. This episode, we discuss what we think are the top 5 most overrated movies in each of our opinions. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can listen to our entire episode library, comment on episodes, write to our email. Also, we are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And as always, thank you for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a like, rate us, send us to a friend.
Something.
Dear God. Or not, if you just want to listen, that's fine too.
That's fine too.
So,
yeah, this is going to be fun.
we have a third nut in our sack.
Yes.
So,
Glad to be here.
yeah, Coop is official now. We've done all the prerequisite sexual favors, and he is now the third person.
Specifically to Jay, because he's the one that asked.
Well,
I'm just happy to have earned my key.
I was going to say, just so that way the hashtag MeToos don't come get us, joke's on them, it was us doing sexual favors for Coop, not the other way around.
That's true.
Totally consensual.
We are...
It was impressive.
Yes. It was... It's like Twister, but hairier. All right.
Yeah.
Top 5 overrated.
Top 5. I'm excited to do this.
We will...
We haven't done one in a while.
I know. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Last one was... I don't even know if we've done one this year.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But, as always, when we do top 5, we'll discuss our criteria, and then we will hop into it, go from 5 to 1, and we'll go around the table.
Yep.
Circle jerk style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're all about the gay
I am.
innuendo.
I don't know why. It's
It's called projection, Jay.
Miller Lite. I don't know why it's
yeah.
It's weird.
Get a couple sips of beer in them, and the gay comes out.
No homo, but I'm fellatio. All right, so
You want to get started with your...
yeah, I'll get started with. So with mine, I kept it kind of simple. I only had 3 qualifiers. One, it receives too much praise, or it received too many awards.
Okay.
And then also, people still have to talk about it positively today. So it can't be, I didn't want it to have it be like, oh, everyone talks about Citizen Kane and it's boring as shit. And because, I mean, time is going to age everything. So it has to be something that people still talk about today. And the third one is I've seen it. So I didn't want to do hearsay.
Yeah.
Although there are a couple in my honorable mentions that I would have put in my top 5 just because of what they've done, mainly just, but I haven't seen it, so I couldn't really put those movies
I like
in
your
there.
integrity.
Yeah, and it's obviously all this is opinion, but also I think coincidentally for mine, they're all good movies for the most part.
Okay.
It's just they're overrated. They're too much pomp and circumstance. For
Yeah,
what
I got
they
you.
are.
That's good criteria.
Yeah.
Coop, do you have any?
Yeah, there were movies that came recommended to me by people that I know that were like, you got to see this movie for whatever reason. They really liked it, obviously. Also, if they did well in the box office, but once you went to see them, it was kind of like, oh, really? That's what we got out of it? That was really my only 2 criteria for what I picked.
Nice. For me, I had to have seen it multiple times because I didn't rewatch any of these things. So it had to be seared into my brain.
It had to be something that I could still remember.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple in my honorable mentions that I saw just one time, and I remember them being overrated.
Yeah, there's several Ridley Scotts that I had to leave off the list just because I only saw it once.
I forced myself to go back and watch 4 of the 5 of these.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So you're fresh.
I'm fresh on it. And my opinion stands. Yeah.
He has a rash.
I had to watch it multiple times. I had to make a ton of money or receive an ungodly amount of praise from fans and critics, or I had to have won just an ungodly amount of rewards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Return of the King is your number one.
Well, that's not overrated because that is a masterpiece.
So, all right, who wants to go first? Coop?
Coop, you go first.
Sure.
You go first.
So this is a movie that it's a little bit older, but when it came out, it was something that I was told by multiple people, you've got to go see this. You're really going to like it. And it does have a cult following, so I might get a little bit of hate for this one. But number 5 is Donnie Darko for me.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You guys seen it? You
Oh,
like
seen it?
Yeah.
Yep. Seen
Yeah.
it multiple times. So
Yeah.
What list did it make? I know we talked about it. It was on one of your lists of like best sci-fi.
Oh, Halloween movies.
Halloween movies.
Maybe Halloween. Oh, maybe it was sci-fi.
It was on a list.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Long
but
story short, it was on a list.
You can tell my lists mean a lot to me because I can never fucking remember by the next day what the hell
Exactly.
I put. But yeah, it was on a list.
Yeah.
Don't know which one. I will get back to you on that.
Yeah, the acting in it was good. The storyline for me was a little bit vague. So it came out in, I think, 2001, and it wasn't until 2003 the director's cut came out, where the storyline was expanded on a little bit more, where they get into the parallel dimension and how it diverged. And
Did you watch the director's cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when Donnie's sitting on the side and he sees the plane fly into the vortex and lets himself die pretty much, and then the timelines converge again. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's cool now that I can see the director's cut, but this is 3 years later after I saw the original one, and I was left there scratching my head. So,
Remind me how it ended. Like, what is that? The vortex and stuff. Like, what were they trying to?
So basically, Donnie wakes up on a golf. He goes to sleep, wakes up on a golf course. He's been sleepwalking. He presumes. All of these events kind of happen through his own reading, and there's like a witch lady that lives in his neighborhood who's they all think is crazy, but really she's kind of part of this divergence. At the end, Donnie is on kind of like this parallel timeline to where he can see things happening where everybody else is living them, but he can see them as they happen. So his mom's airplane goes through this vortex. It rips off a turbine. In the real world, it fell and killed Donnie. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. In the real world, it fell and killed Donnie. When it diverges, that's when he can see it falling. And he chooses, he can either stay on the golf course where he was, or he can choose to stay in bed and be killed. So he decides to stay in bed and be killed because throughout this divergent timeline, the girl that he meets dies. He actually kills somebody, and so he feels like it's better off if he just dies and the timeline continues as it was supposed to.
Prevents all that stuff.
And prevents all this stuff from happening.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what isn't? And then like at the end, you have that Mad World cover playing, and it kind of goes to everybody's character, and like some people are crying, and some people are just sitting there like, "What the hell happened?" Like everyone remembers the alternate timeline as a dream.
Gotcha.
They've all had these dreams.
Hence the Patrick Swayze character, he's been exposed. So everything that's happened that was at least constructive in that timeline was still has some kind of lingering effects in the natural one. But
I forgot. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're better off.
So it was overrated because it got recommended to you.
Yeah, it was just something that was highly recommended to me, and then when I watched it, I was kind of let down by it.
Right.
Yeah.
Your hurdle to clear was just
it was too high. Yeah.
Yeah, it does get praised a lot.
yeah, I mean, I remember really liking it because I watched it. Didn't watch it in theaters. I don't think anyone did. But I watched it with a buddy of mine, and I remember we had several conversations as far as like what did it mean, or like we were trying to figure out like what the story was or how things happened in there. And we were trying to get clues from that before the director's cut came out, before they had all that. So I think we had theories like, a higher being thought he was smart or deserved a second chance or something like that. But there was like a bunch of other random stuff, like the numbers on his arm when he wakes up on the golf course is the same writing and script as in, I think it's Superman part 1 or 2, to where Lex Luthor's henchman pulls up his sleeve, and it's the exact same number, kind of a thing.
Huh.
Because like the story kind of goes into like a superhero thing. So if a tangent universe goes or splits off, then the observer, or whatever they called it in the bonus features, starts getting superhuman strength. And so, I mean, even though it's kind of like a time story or like a parallel universe story, then it kind of bleeds into like comic book stuff. So, I mean, I liked it better when it was just like the original movie, because it would kind of spark discussion.
It lets you speculate a little bit as to how it all played out.
And then once you found out more about the story and like you kind of saw the whole idea behind it, you're like, oh, that was just a kind of a shitty execution of it, and they just kind of purposely pulled things back to make it more interesting, I feel like, than what it actually was.
So do you think the director's cut made it worse than the original one?
I've never seen the director's cut.
For me, it clarified it a little bit more. Like what Jay's talking about, like the speculative side of things, where it can spark discussion. It more so, I don't really like that. I like I like to have my beginning, middle, and end.
All right.
And so I feel like this, the director's cut gave those three elements to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard the argument on for the Matrix the same way. Like the sequels destroyed the lore because they over-explained too much. They tried to do a beginning, middle, and end, and it didn't really work out. It sort of cut through like the mythos of that whole world.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that.
I can see
don't know
that.
if you've ever seen.
I don't know. The first time I watched it, I just took it as a euphemism for a computer virus.
It's what it is.
Like all three of them, yeah. And then I was like, that's fine.
And then towards part 3, it's like a Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
parallel.
Well, I mean, they had that shit in the first movie. I remember watching.
It got really.
It got real into it. Yeah,
it got really. Out. It was like,
if you don't get it, here's a big, bright, shining cross.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I mean, they had that shit in there because I remember watching clips of that movie in youth group.
Oh yeah.
Churches were already like starting to like, this is about. I mean, which it had that biblical sense in there. Like a lot of literary stuff does too. But
he is the one. Stops bullets. All right, that's a good pick.
To believe.
I can agree with that.
So cool. All right, you're number 5.
You go, Jay.
Okay. My number is my top Halloween movies, I think, because it was on the same list as Casper. Number 5, a new movie. A lot of these are newer movies, because I think as time goes on, I think the overratedness, like Crash, like movies like that, that just people realize that they're just kind of
They're fine.
Yeah. Oppenheimer is my number 5. I don't think this movie will particularly age well. So I have it on there now. I don't think it'll be overrated 10 years from now, just because I don't think anyone's really going to go back and watch this.
Yeah.
It's very long. I feel like it's purposely convoluted and obtuse narratively, like the way it's structured and the way he told the story. But I put it as overrated because there's a lot of people that, according on the internet, if you believe it's true, there's a lot of people that went and saw it multiple times, like so many times, and they're like, "Oh, what did you like?" And they're picking everything apart, which great, happy for you. You found a movie that you can sink your teeth into. But I feel like it's an Emperor's Clothes effect, to where you're getting a lot of people right now saying that's really good and they like it because they want to feel like they're smart, and they're afraid to say it's boring as shit. Yeah. I mean, there's the acting's really well done. It's shot awesome. I mean, everything.
It's an Nolan movie, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything is really, really well done. It's just it's not that good.
Yeah,
like it could have been a lot better. And I feel like the drawbacks of it, mainly the narrative structure and the length, was just a result of Christopher Nolan not getting out of his own way.
Yeah,
and I think it hindered it. I don't think it's his best movie.
Yeah.
Interstellar, which I don't know if that's his best movie either, but that's one of my favorites, to where that wasn't really well liked when it came out. But I feel like it's kind of grown on people. And that one I rewatched just from the adventure aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it had something for me to go back to. I'll probably watch Oppenheimer again at some point, maybe after I read whatever book that it was based on, American Prometheus. But I'm in no rush.
No hurry to see it?
I'm in no hurry to see it. And I just think it's, I don't know. I just think a lot of people are saying, oh, it's so good just because they want to feel like they're smart or feel like they, I mean, it's okay. It could be boring and still be good. But
I remember just the build up to the bomb and then the payoff for that was so anticlimactic.
Real, yeah.
It didn't hit for me. I'm like, that's it. That's what we've been building up to for the first 2 hours. And then after it, like the last hour, it does like kind of just drag.
it keeps going.
You said it was like two
going.
different movies, pretty much.
Yeah,
like the first half,
after
second
the
half.
bomb, after the bomb, then it's like the trial.
Yeah.
Or the confirmation of Robert Downey Jr.'s senator character and how he persecuted Oppenheimer. So because of that, he didn't get appointed to like whatever the chairman of the Department of Energy Committee or whatever it was. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But that last hour was just
it was brutal. It was a very long way to say that the government fucks you.
Right.
Like
no shit.
like you could have wrapped it
like
up
you didn't
after.
know.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning port, like when they're making the bomb, when they're trying
That's
to, that's
entertaining.
interesting,
Yeah.
and it's well done. But
And the
Yeah.
problem with Nolan movies that I don't think Interstellar or Inception had, sometimes his movies have way too many secondary characters. And he tries to flesh them out when there's just too many of them, and there's even though
What a
it's 3
bastard.
hours long, he didn't flesh out a lot of these characters
Yeah.
that are especially that first. There's so many scientists in that movie that just pop in and they don't get developed at all. So you just feel like you're meeting all these new characters and they don't dive into it to the extent that you would want them to, and it just feels like there's a lot going on with like no payoff.
yeah, and to where it's presented so quickly, so fast that you almost have to watch it again to be able to get all the names if you're not already familiar with the subject matter, and which is fine. I mean, I like Cool Hand Luke is one of those movies that just jumps right into it and you go, and it's not necessarily fast paced, but it to feel like you have to watch it again, especially with a movie that's however 3.5 hours long. That's like no.
Yeah. And what makes Interstellar and like Inception so good is there's a group of people that you follow throughout the entire movie.
core
There's
people,
not
yeah.
not a ton of secondary characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he was trying to get a bunch of like cameos, like scientist cameos, and
Maybe that's
in
what's
the movie. Like he just wanted to mention, like I don't know how many
It was
people
probably
worked on
in
the
the book.
Manhattan, and
It was probably in
Yeah.
that book that it's based off
Yeah.
of.
And that's the thing, to where if you're gonna if you base it off a book or a previous property, that's fine, but you shouldn't be required to read the book to get the movie,
Yep. I agree.
in my opinion. But yeah, that's my number 5.
I agree with that.
So
I would agree.
did you watch Oppenheimer, Coop? No. It's all right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's
After your review of it, yeah, I decided to miss that one.
I don't regret seeing it, but
Yeah,
definitely
Is
I
there
mean,
like 4 hours that I could have done
it's
something
three,
else?
It's
with?
over 3. It's
yeah. I
long
mean,
enough.
it's fine. It's not like, oh, don't watch it.
It's
a
not
waste
a
of
bad
time.
movie.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Yeah.
movie. It's just it's long and it's just drawn out. Like it could have been tightened up.
It's like The Irishman. Have you
Okay.
seen The
Oh
Irishman?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
for
that.
sure.
It's
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Like why
So
is
with several breaks in between,
Yeah.
I watched that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My number 5, just making it, is The Shining.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. The only reason I put this on is because everyone claims that it's on a lot of people's lists as like the most terrifying movie ever made, and I just don't agree.
Yeah,
with
not
that.
even close.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad movie. I do think it's a good movie, but it's
Sure.
not scary at all to me.
Yeah,
it's just a moody film, and I think it gets overhyped because Stanley Kubrick. Everyone thinks
Sure.
that everything he does is just
Yeah.
amazing.
The Kubrick suckers out there.
Oh
in the
God,
world.
they
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
There's actually this documentary called Room
237.
237, where everybody goes into like, this is why I think he made it. It's about the Indian genocide, or this is why he made it. It's about the Apollo 11
yeah,
moon.
yeah.
landing.
That's the segment that I saw with the Apollo landing. Yeah.
Exactly, and the whole time I'm thinking, then they're trying to say how brilliant Stanley Kubrick is, and I'm sure he is. But the whole time, like I imagine Stanley Kubrick watching that documentary, saying, No, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is
I
true.
did it for a paycheck, people. Yeah.
That was already in there, and that was brought in because someone had it in the house when we needed to fill the set. And,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
and
This is leftover carpet,
Yeah.
so whatever. Yeah.
They go into like playing the movie backwards and the movie forwards and like overlaying the frames. Like there's actually a frame where Jack opens the door and that overlays perfectly with the blood opening over the elevator, and I'm like,
It's
this
the
is
Who has
result.
time for this shit?
No, virgins that are in their parents' basement.
Unbelievable.
That's who has time for. Like
Yeah.
no adult with any semblance of family or responsibility, I feel like, has time for that. It started off with somebody's like pet project or something like that, and it's grasping at straws,
right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and for all those reasons, it's a good movie, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I mean, I liked it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like going past that with some ethos of
it's not scary though,
No,
like at
no,
all.
No.
I didn't even think it was scary when I was a kid.
no, and maybe it could have been scary for the times, like especially. I mean, of course, Jack Nicholson already looks like he's half crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
him going that direction with the character, not necessarily
Yeah,
that out of whack, especially seeing his later roles like The Departed and like other
Sure.
villains that he's played. So maybe at the time scary, but he was already doing Cuckoo's Nest, and I mean, he was already playing some unique characters.
it's definitely suspenseful.
Yeah,
It's suspenseful, but
the ending kills it for me. Like the fucking photograph, and I'm like, the fuck does that mean?
yeah,
I don't-
yeah. He's
Which-
part of the hotel now.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
sucked him in.
It's a shit ending written by Stephen King. It's like that magic hand of God at the end of The Stand, when like that miniseries, you ever see
Yeah.
that, and a giant fucking computer hand comes out of nowhere. And
I didn't see that part of
It's
it.
fucking
No, well,
really. Yeah. Well, or The Langoliers, great movie, great miniseries, and then like, oh, time stopped, and then we have these time munching Pac-Men that are coming and eating.
Have you
up.
seen that?
No.
Like,
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, dude. What
No,
are you doing?
Stephen
bro?
King sucks at writing endings. It's like, what do I do? Oh, that's a good idea. And then
Does he
writes
suck,
it
or
out.
does it suck when it's translated to a miniseries, a Tuesday
See, I
night
don't know. I haven't read
miniseries?
his book,
Yeah.
so maybe it makes sense in the books, and it probably could. And maybe at the time they just didn't have the effects. They're like, how the fuck are we going to film that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Pac-Man,
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I do love it, but the ending of it is so dumb.
Yeah. Agreed. And
So dumb.
I saw the most recent iteration, of course, in theaters.
Yeah.
And I went with a girl, and she was like, God, that was good. And I was like, this isn't going to work out.
Good man.
You're a good man. Anyway, that's The Shining. That's my number 5.
Yeah, that was a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Coop, you're number 4.
Number 4, Usual Suspects.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, I hear a lot the twist. You don't see the twist coming. You're never gonna guess, and I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't. But there's a reason why. Like at the end of that movie, the detective spills out why it's the other guy. It's like that makes sense, and then they're just like, nah, the cripple guy is it. Doesn't make sense.
I
The
saw
twist
it.
didn't work for Coop.
I saw it.
Worked for everyone else but Coop.
I saw it once, so I can't really speak to it. But I also saw Scary Movie before I saw The Usual Suspects.
The parody?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Because
haven't seen that movie
it
in a
kind
while,
of makes
did
fun
I?
of The
Yeah.
Usual
Yeah.
Suspects
Okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing with the coffee mug and everything, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Scary,
I was like,
Scary
yeah.
Movie ruined The Usual Suspects. It's the first time I've ever heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were a fan. It sounds like, or you were.
I love
It was
that
at least
movie.
on par. Okay,
I love
okay.
that movie, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's a great movie.
It's like fair to middling for me.
I can't speak to it. I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
It must not have left an
Yeah.
impression because I never felt like I had to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, and I've seen this a couple times. I mean, it's not a movie that somebody shouldn't go see. I mean, you should go watch it. But for me, as it was built up when people were telling me to go see it, when I did finally
Right.
saw it, it wasn't the climax that I expected it to
Right.
be. So that's it.
It's kind of how I feel about The Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
Everyone was,
blown away.
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's a pretty cool twist, but
But But like, it was completely believable that this dude's wife ignored him for a year. Like, who gives a shit? He never grabs her by the shoulders. Like, what's the problem? And
It's true.
they're like, oh no, yeah, it makes way more sense that he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So they just built it up so much that you were expecting like just
Yeah.
have your
I guess, I
mind
mean, like at the
blown.
end of the day, it's a movie, you know. So it's like, what did I maybe I allowed my expectations to get built too high,
Okay.
to where no matter what happened, I would have been like, no, that's not it. But
No, that's a valid argument.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
people keep
Yeah.
pumping it up.
but yeah,
It's
and I saw it and I was kind of like, all right, like,
I feel
yeah,
like
I
if
guess.
people didn't tell you anything about it and you had just happened to watch it, you
probably,
would've-
yeah, probably.
It's fucking people just
Yeah.
ruining
Yeah,
things.
well, they ruin
Because
a
I
lot.
watched and didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, see,
So that's
which
probably
is
why.
like pretty much how you should go into any
Yeah.
movie, I think.
Is that your favorite Bryan Singer film?
I'm trying to think of everything he's done. I liked At Pupil a lot.
See,
That's a really
that's
good
the
one.
one
just
I
watched that
think.
the other day.
a great
Yeah,
movie.
excellent movie. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably my favorite one. That next two is probably
X2 is good.
like the two that I really enjoyed that he did. But yeah, the apt pupil, Ian McKellen, when he was doing the
Yeah.
The
Nazi
goose step in
march,
the- in the-
that
in the
thing
kitchen,
scared
yeah.
the shit out
Yeah.
of me. And I think I was like, that movie came out what 97 or something,
98 or something,
98.
yeah.
So I was like probably 13 or 15. That's how math works. And
Yeah. And Brad Renfro's like a really good actor.
Yeah.
It sucks that he died, but man, yeah,
yeah, he had a strong run there.
He did.
The Client, Apt Pupil,
yeah,
The Cure. That was a good one.
yeah,
But all right.
yeah.
That's what I've got. That's it.
Blacked
Yeah.
out.
Next, yeah.
Number 4 for me, another new movie, Joker. Just,
I can totally see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone.
It's not the best performance that anyone's ever done, Jay, of all time.
Well, not so much that. It's just everyone's like, it's a modern day taxi driver, and I'm like, taxi driver's still kind of a modern day taxi
yeah.
driver, and you're like, oh, it's a taxi driver, but you know, for comic book movies, and I'm like, how about just not do that? I mean, what's the point? Like, I watched the whole thing, and I was waiting for something to happen, and I turned to Christy. I was like, I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I didn't get why people liked it so much. Yeah, the acting was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I was supposed to feel sorry for Joaquin Phoenix's character because I didn't. He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel bad for him. It's not. I mean, I don't know. Everyone thought it was really, really good. I just left me properly whelmed. It was shot well. I like the look of the set design and stuff. It felt like 1980s New York, like
Yeah.
back when you would see it in movies. Just that dirty New York. I thought that was well done. But
It was depressing.
it's in it.
The whole time I was like, what's the next thing? Like,
Yeah.
let's get on to the next thing, because this scene is just...
And I think it would have been better if, because they everyone was throwing like shit at the wall to see if it stuck. Like, oh, it's such a touching thing on mental illness. And I'm like, what? So you got to be nice to everybody just in case they're a psychopathic murderer? Yeah, it's nice to be nice to everybody, but not because, well, they might kill you. Kind of like that shouldn't be why you're nice to people. And to where I feel like
That's the only reason I'm nice to anybody.
So that kind of missed the mark for me, and I feel like it would have been a better story if it wasn't such like a fucking downer of a person to begin with, to where take a normal person or take somebody that you root for, like make the audience fall in love with that character and then see their tragic downfall into that kind of a person.
Right. And you
To
think,
where it's
you think they didn't do that?
I don't think they did that at all.
Yeah.
Like they could have done that a lot better, and I think they were more concentrating on the quirkiness, the weirdness, the deranged side of it more so than the proper buildup of getting the audience behind this character.
Right.
Yeah,
You feel
absolutely.
like they wanted him to do Joker things just
Yeah.
for the sake of Joker things.
doing
Yeah.
Joker things, and I feel like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be people at the end. Oh yeah, now he's Joker. It should be like, oh shit, he's Joker. Like because
Yeah.
you should you should have empathy or care for that character, and that would I feel like would have hit harder,
Right.
because then you love somebody and then you just watch them fall,
Yeah.
and that I feel like would have been a lot more effective than.
Would have hit harder.
Yeah, he starts out as a shithead. You're just kind of like, no, like who wants to root for the shithead? Nobody. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he's kind of a douche.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't.
It's fine.
It barely made the list because I
Yeah.
don't think it's like it doesn't have as much people saying, "Oh, it's so great" as when it first came out.
It did make $1 billion. It's crazy.
It's weird,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Fair enough. All right, my number 4 is Apocalypse Now.
Oh, okay.
You guys ever seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I hate this movie. I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's just very boring.
yeah, it's a mood movie.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
far superior movies about Vietnam that I just prefer. And that's the only reason why it's on the list. I just think it's been done better. Like Platoon and Full Metal Jacket come to mind.
Yeah.
I prefer those movies over this one.
Yeah.
And
You don't get to listen to the Flight of the Valkyries in those movies.
I know, that's true. Yeah. And I know the making of this movie is like an epic story on how Francis Ford Coppola got it funded and how he shot it and everything. And it turned out so well. And he got into, fights with Marlon Brando because he never, did Marlon Brando stuff. But even with all that, like, again, it's a mood movie. I have a problem with movies that are advertised one way, or I'm anticipating it to go one way, and it's just a slog, and it's like all about tone, and it's about the light. Like there's another movie on here that almost made my list that I can categorize into that. It's by your favorite director, Ridley Scott.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, it didn't make my list, but that's what I feel like. It's advertised as like exciting and like fast paced and blah blah blah, and if it doesn't deliver that, and it's more artsy fartsy, like oh look at the lighting and just didn't do it for me.
I agree.
Yeah,
how many people are art students or film students out there? Like those are the people that type of thing applied to. I'm here
Yeah.
to see a movie about Vietnam and like let's shoot them up a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Like I don't need all the setting
or
The
if
weirdness of
Yeah.
like, we have him in like a geisha outfit.
exactly,
And
yeah,
it's murder a cow.
yes, like what the like Platoon, like it's not like a shoot 'em up movie, but they develop the characters and they're like normal people,
Right.
that you could picture yourself being with if you're in that situation. This, like, I couldn't. Some of these characters in the movie, I'm like, that's not a real person.
Yeah.
That person doesn't exist. Like Lawrence Fishburne's like Riverboat guy. I've watched this movie so many times trying to like it, and I just can't get there. I just can't do it.
I'm like a 2 and done. Like I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't really like that, but maybe I'll hear something good. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let me give it another shot. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I watched this for the first time, I think probably a year ago, because it was on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, it's
fine.
it's a mood movie.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
It's fine.
you have the famous scenes, but like you said, they're not real people. It didn't feel like. I feel like the Deer Hunter does a better job of showing people delving into madness.
Sure. Yeah. That's a great
because
movie.
of the war.
Yeah.
Or like Dead Presidents, more of a popcorn version of it. But no.
Yeah. Robbie Duvall saying, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. And the way he delivers that line,
Oh, it's really good.
it's good, but and the guys around him, there's explosions going off. I'm like, no one would do this.
Sending people out to go surfing during
Like, you
the
can fight or
mortar
you can
blast.
surf.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the way those waves are breaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's my number 4.
Yeah. My number 3 was Avatar: Way of Water.
Ooh.
Ooh, a new one.
It's a very new one.
Yeah. It's just lazy.
You can probably just wrap up Avatar in that one.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, the first one was like, obviously came out, 2009, I think.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking visual effects, the concept of the tree and everybody, even the bipedal aliens are connected to to that planet and all that stuff. That was a cool concept. This is just copy paste. Instead of a tree, it's a coral reef. It's even used the same bad guy. Like, there's no other assholes in the universe they couldn't have found to do this. Like, they just upload the same asshole into this new body, and now he goes and does it all over again.
You know what the flaw in that movie is? Is because that guy would shoot himself in the head if he...
So there would be one less Navi. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You nailed it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That would have
been a great scene if they did that, and then he just
he wakes up and the body is like, what the fuck? And just uses his big toe in the shotgun.
It's just 2.5 hours of him waking up in a different avatar. Sir, you can't keep doing this. It's costing millions of dollars. Fuck you.
And that's why they want to, like, somebody with that kind of killer instinct is why they keep reviving him.
Yeah, I imagine like he does it, and then they pan over to like the scientists that are like on the other side of the glass, and they're just like looking at each other like shit.
Well, take out the other one. There's
Get
like
the
a
other
whole
one.
drawer of.
How many embryos do we have back there?
Yeah.
It was what, a $250 million budget, and it was just like,
Made a shit ton of money.
let's just do this exact same thing, and
They made it.
yeah, I mean,
They
good.
made it.
I get, yeah, good for the shareholders of Disney, which I'm not one of. But I went ahead and looked at what Avatar 3, the synopsis of Avatar 3 is.
Is it a volcano?
The fire tribe is who they're gonna. So yeah, it's probably gonna be.
At the base,
They're gonna go to a volcano, and they all worship the volcano. And,
It's gonorrhea.
and-
They all have STDs. That's what.
is that what it? The burn?
burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
get their tentacle things
That makes
all
sense.
intertwined.
So yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's
my
fair.
number.
I agree with you. It is rinse to repeat.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the saga, so I think there's 5 total Avatar movies.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah, he's
That's
got
the plan.
the earth, the water, the fire. He's got wind. So he'll probably have to go to the sky people, and then he'll grab Heart at the last one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Captain Planet
comes
emerges.
out,
He is blue, so that.
It's a whole origin story about how Captain Planet came to be.
Wow,
That's true.
That's a twist.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas.
No, I agree.
That would be a total Disney move.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
This is the Captain
Yeah.
Planet origin story.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. It's a good pick, though.
Yeah. Thank you.
My number 3 is similar. It's a mood movie.
Ooh.
And it looks great.
Ooh. Is this what I think it is?
It looks fantastic.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's boring as shit. It's Dune.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're
And-
bored, huh?
Yeah. I watched it. The girls were out of the house.
Uh-huh.
I was there. I was like, all right, I got 4 hours. Push play.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh my God. Like, it was just a long, it felt like the Blade Runner effect. And Blade Runner didn't make it on my list, but same kind of issue to where there's a lot of concentration on the shots. Like, oh, look at this.
It's beautiful.
Look at it. I mean, and it looks great. But I just don't care about any of the characters. It's just so drawn out. Timothy Chalamet just feels like a wet doily.
He's your favorite fuckboy of the year.
Fucking.
Did you read the books or watch the original or anything
No,
like that?
see,
No,
that's,
okay.
and that's the thing, to where I feel like I wrote down, I was like, I feel like I have to read the book to care what's happening.
So I watched this movie. I've watched like 25% of this movie. And it was like same deal. Like, I'm zoning out. I'm playing with my phone. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm out. So one of my good friends, actually, Matt, you know him also. He'll remain unnamed for now. But he was like, do you want to watch Dune? And I was like, dude, I tried to watch it, couldn't get into it. And he was like, well, I'll like explain it to you. And so as we're watching the movie, he would like pause it, explain, because there's like a lot of terminology and stuff that like, it's like, well, like what does this thing mean? Or like, what is this? Who is this person? And so he'd be like, well, and he's read the book, he's read like the graphic novel adaptation, like he's into it. And so he was able to explain everything. And it's like, okay, well, now that I have this information in my back pocket, I can move forward. And I enjoyed the movie. And so I rewatched it like maybe a month or so ago, and I liked it. So like, I definitely hear where you're coming from.
And
but
that's the thing, to where, because I mean, I have the book, upstairs. I bought it in 8th grade and cracked it open and kind of flipped through it, and I noticed in the back it had a glossary of all the words.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. And the glossary was like 5% of the book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, fuck that.
Yeah.
And I put it down on a shelf.
Yeah, you got to do your
It's still up
homework
there.
before you can enjoy this book.
And, so I never got around to reading it. But, I mean, that's the way I feel. It's where I'm watching. I'm like, I feel like I'm missing shit. The's something that I'm not
you
aware
definitely
of.
are. Yeah.
And if it's not made for me, that's perfectly fine. I feel like then a lot of people probably read the book or know what's going
Maybe,
on.
yeah.
But, like, going in there blind,
Yeah.
I
Totally agree.
just think it's like, which I get, because they say Dune is unfilmable, but at the same time, it's like you should be able to do it in a way that's entertaining. Bust it up into 3 movies if you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can't just with the story structure, because then, like, the first movie would just be everyone explaining shit and be boring as fuck. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that was just number 3 for me.
Okay.
That's just Denis Villeneuve, though. That's what he does.
And that's fine. And I love his other shit, like Arrival. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
It's funny you say the Blade Runner effect. He
I
directed
like,
Blade Runner.
I
2049.
liked Blade Runner 2049, and that's the only, other than us doing it for a podcast one time, that's the only reason why I gave the original Blade Runner another shot, is because I was like, well, I like 2049.
Okay.
Oh, because 2049 I thought was great. Another
I did like that one.
mood movie.
It's mood.
But it was paced. I mean, it was a little bit better, I think, than the original
Yeah.
Blade Runner. But no, looks great. I'm sure the acting is fine. Although, who's that? Rebecca Ferguson?
Yeah.
Yeah, she made it. I thought Zendaya was going to come in there and kind of carry me forward, but no, thank God Rebecca Ferguson was
Yeah.
No.
Sexism.
Yes.
Eye candy.
I read you, Jay.
Misogyny. They're there for eye candy and nothing else.
Just boys being boys. I don't see a problem.
Boys being boys.
All right.
So that's my number 3 / Blade Runner, because it was Blade Runner was gonna Blade Runner was probably gonna creep into number 2.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't.
It didn't. Okay. We don't have to go over this too long because you already said Avatar, Way of Water. My number 3 is Avatar, the OG.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer fact that it's still the top grossing movie of all time. It won all those Oscars, and the only thing really, really good about it are the visuals are still good.
Yeah.
But the story is Dances with Wolves in Space. I mean, it's fine.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've never heard it put like that before.
And that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fern
Yeah.
Gully is also another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same story.
Yeah.
I mean, the story's mediocre at best. I mean, the movie's good, but it's not to have all the praise and the accolades associated with it, just not deserving. Yeah. It's fine.
And what kills me, and they got to be lying, because they delayed. Originally, I think the first sequel was supposed to come out in 2014, and then they just kept pushing it back. And they're like, "Oh, it's writing it.
Yeah,
we're writing it. Some of the technology is an issue. Nope, we're writing it. We're figuring out the scripts. We're figuring out the." Took you that long to write nothing? Like immediate,
right.
like a copy paste.
You wrote
story?
nothing. Yeah, exactly
And,
right.
Like there's nothing. Like there's no. I'm waiting. I will go see the 3rd one.
Yep.
I'll go
Yeah, I
see the
will
4th
too.
one,
Yeah.
and I'll go see the 5th one, hoping that there's going to be something that happens by the end to where you look back on everything like, oh fuck, that was a fantastic story. But 2 movies in,
I think it's lost.
We're just hopping around the world.
I think it's lost. You're going to watch all the way to the end and be like, that's it.
Be like,
Yeah.
God damn it, James.
James did it again. Yeah.
You got $100 off of me.
I remember watching it in 3D thinking that this is the
I did
best
too. Did we go together to
experience.
see it?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't remember.
But the 3D was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
But it's more like a roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take that out of it and you're like, okay, how's the movie? It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not deserving of
Yeah.
all the money it made and all the praise it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I agree.
Yeah.
We all agree.
Yeah.
And
We all agree,
We
for
are
sure.
correct.
Yeah.
As always.
And if you disagree with us, go fuck yourself. Or let us know in the comments.
Yes, please put it in the comments.
My number 2 was it's a little bit more of a cult classic, Requiem for a Dream.
Ooh. You think it's
Murphy
overrated?
like
Huh?
it? Murphy like?
I've only seen it
like
like I think once or twice.
Okay.
I've
It's
seen
been
it
a long
lot.
time.
Have you really?
When I was in an emo phase.
Okay.
I'd never had an emo phase, but it was in my college movie watching days to where art.
Yeah. Not
that,
for me.
That douche. I was just dripping in douche. But go ahead.
It was just one of those movies that none of the characters are likable. There's no redemption for anybody. It's like I'm just watching this to get to the end. That's my whole. That's become my being for being here.
Is this one of the ones you rewatched?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't rewatch it. Just because it's so depressing. You know what I mean?
It is depressing.
It's a bunch of people who have potential in their life, and they just kind of let drugs take over.
When did you watch it?
It's been a few years ago.
Okay, so were you? Would you say you were like early 20s when you first watched it, or like?
I would probably high school.
Oh, okay.
I was probably in high school when I first watched it, and I didn't really like it much then, but it was like one of those things like, oh, you didn't like it? And I'm like, oh, maybe I should give it another shot, So I watched it a couple more times. I've probably seen the movie 3 times all out.
Okay.
And I was just like, nah, I just can't do it. I just can't get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I enjoyed it because you're not supposed to, but
It's like, oh, it's so good.
so good, especially the ending. It all comes together.
Let's watch it again.
Especially the ass to ass when it.
Yeah. When the dude's selling his girlfriend for drug money. Yeah, like that's not somebody I'm rooting for.
And that was I felt bad for the mother. I felt bad for the girlfriend. And that's mainly I just felt bad for those characters, and it crushed me the first time I saw it, and I was like, oh
for sure,
God, and and I watched it. I think that I watched it multiple times, mainly for trying to study filmmaking technique.
Okay,
especially like the opening with the split screen, to where you have 2 different things going on at the same time when he's talking to his mother, and the mother is trapped or locked herself in the closet, and they're like taking the TV, and then they're how that all lines up is really well done, and just like the different motion control camera that he uses for like God, who's the lady that played Ellen Burstyn?
Ellen Burstyn, yeah.
When she's on speed cleaning the house, and like the whole camera's kind of going through. So I watched it multiple times for like that aspect of it. But yeah, or I'd watch it with somebody who'd never seen it before, just to see what their reaction was. Which I enjoyed it in the sense that I thought it was. I mean, it's supposed to be a cautionary tale, and I thought it did a great job at that.
For sure, yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I would like. I don't think I'd recommend it to somebody. Like, oh. Have you seen Requiem for a Dream? Let's talk about movies. Have you seen that one? You should watch that. Like, that would be one of the last movies I'd probably recommend.
They should show this movie in the Dare Education classes.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, like it's crushing. You hear about bad shit happening to people that abuse drugs and all this stuff, but this is like when you see it and you don't just see like somebody's high and then they die. Mm-hmm. They see the progression of like going into prostitution and becoming homeless and like all these other aspects.
Or like, oh yeah, we're going to do
Damon
this deal.
Wayans being in the hospital, not just for the overdose, but like his shunt gets infected and they have to amputate his arm. It's like you don't just are high and then die. Like there's a lot more worse shit that can happen to you building up to that. And then when you get to watch that, it's pretty daunting.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, have you ever seen Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
With Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Where, like, I wouldn't recommend that watch to anybody because it's so, like, frenetic.
Yeah. You're just
ends
tense the whole
terribly.
time. Yeah, you're tense the whole time.
You don't feel good after you finish watching it. I can't say I hate movies like that, but yeah, it's not a good experience. Like when you feel like shit after the end of watching something.
I disagree.
Oh, you love it?
I don't.
I love feeling like shit.
I love feeling bad.
It's like I watch Oz every night.
Yeah. It's so fun. But no, like I've seen Uncut Gems once. It's one of those Requiem is one of those movies. Like you can watch it once, and that's all you need to watch.
Yeah.
And Uncut Gems is probably another one of those.
Yeah.
But I enjoy those movies for the sense of just watching it once. It's not going to be like,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
the snow falling down. I'm
Yeah.
going to pop in Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a comfort movie.
Yeah.
And if it is, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
But yeah, I asked how old you were when you first saw it, because when I first saw it, I was younger. I was in high school or early college, and I think if I watched it now, it would obviously probably affect me differently. I'd probably look at them as like children,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the grumpy old man, like, you dumb shits. Like, you're throwing
I'm
it
sure,
away.
yeah.
They were fucking idiots. Like, I don't know if it would have the same kind of effect as
Watching it when you were younger.
Watching it when I was young, because when you were younger, you kind of saw your friends
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah, released in 2000, so I was probably 17 or 18 by the time I saw it. Maybe 16, 17, something like that. Yeah.
So, all right.
So, yeah.
That was your number 2?
2.
Number 2. My number 2. And I don't know. I hear people talk about this every once in a while, but Inglourious Bastards.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see that.
That's it.
That's terrible.
Okay.
You have to explain.
Matt, what do you got?
I think it's not overrated. I think it's a great movie.
So, I think it has 2 great scenes in it. The farmhouse scene at the very beginning.
Yep.
And then the cafe.
Yeah, that was a great
cafe
scene. Yeah.
When he's eating his pie. But I think there are people in there that act very well in it. I don't think Eli Roth is one of them. He needs to keep his ass behind the camera.
Yeah.
He's horrible. He almost ruined the movie for me. And BJ Novak, same thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is he doing? What? Why? But but the rest of the movie, I felt like he was too far up his own ass when he was making it. And he had a little bit of that in Kill Bill. Not a lot, but a little bit of it. He had a lot of it in Django, and he just bored me to tears with Hateful Eight, and he had
Yeah.
a lot of up his own ass and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
They want to talk you to death in these movies. Yeah.
But, well, I mean, the dialogue is fine, but it's just written like, it's like Aaron Sorkin dialogue, to where it's great dialogue, but no one talks like that. And part of it was the marketing.
Uh-huh.
It was marketed completely different than what they actually presented. So that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. I've watched it, I think, twice, but I feel like it's hammy. It's I don't know who he made the movie for. I feel like he made it for Harvey Weinstein. It was like, see, I'm a friend of Jewish people, and I made it for you. We kill Hitler at the end. So, yeah, he has revisionist history in there. It's not his best revisionist history movie that he did. But I don't know. I just, it's on the bottom half of his movies.
Yeah, I would
For
agree with
me.
that. Matt, disagree.
It's not his best, or it is his best revisionist history movie, because I was bored to tears with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
And see, that's where we're different. Where I enjoyed that another mood movie.
I only liked the last 20 minutes of Once Upon a Time. I hated. There's too much driving around in that movie, and like you said, up his own ass. I feel like he wanted to just wax poetically about L.A. and fuck L.A.
Yeah,
It's
who cares?
stupid.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
Too much driving in that movie.
Unless
Anyway.
you're listening, then we love LA.
But I understand what you're saying. Quentin Tarantino is an acquired taste that I love. So I get it. I understand why some people don't. It's
Yeah.
not their thing. I get it.
Like it, I don't know.
I love dialogue, though.
I wanted more action. I wanted a proper war movie.
Right.
Yeah, same.
I thought it was going to be like about a team of commandos.
That's definitely how it was billed.
And yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, that
Yeah.
I can get behind. And I thought it was going to be a callback to like older war movies, because he did that. He did it with Jackie Brown. He did like Pulp Fiction. He did callbacks to earlier pieces of the genre, and maybe part of it's my fault for having expectations. But to where I think he nailed it in Kill Bill, and then and I thought it was going to be like a callback to like 40s, 50s war films, but updated and more brutal violence, but you could still have some of the dialogue in there, like
yeah, sure,
and the farmhouse scene I think is the best scene, and sadly it's the very first scene in the movie.
Yeah,
and after that,
it's
like
for
all
sure
downhill.
yeah.
It was like Sin City for me, to where the first story was great, and then the last two were like,
yeah. That first scene is like, I mean, the whole time you're like on the edge of your seat, like, what's gonna happen? Like, is he gonna find them underneath the floor? Like, is this gonna happen? And then afterward, the last scene where he's sitting there talking to him in the bar basement, it's like, dude, this is just going on. Just end it. Well, like, let's get it going. There's no tension here. There's no. I'm not leaned in to see what happens. I'm literally just waiting for you guys to stop talking so we can get on to the next thing. Is how I felt.
I disagree with all of this.
Well, tell us, enlighten us.
I thought it was you're right in the fact that it wasn't like a war movie like it was advertised. Like, you're not going to go into the woods of France and watch them mow down Nazis and be tactical and all the other shit like Saving Private Ryan or something. But the journey that you go on from the very first scene to when Hitler gets killed, I think, where they meet up with, I forget her name, who's the spy.
the main character.
No. Diana Kruger wasn't the main character. She was just like a movie star to get them into the the movie theater. But it is like it's more like an Odyssey movie and how they got to that point. And I thought it was entertaining in a different way to do, I guess, a quote unquote war movie than I'd seen before. It does have a lot of scenes where it's just a lot of dialogue, like with Fassbender and with the way that they put the three up is different. I love that scene. That's great.
It's good. Yeah, that's good. It's just long.
I thought it was funny too, and they pretend to be Italian.
Yeah, that was
so absurd.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Like I said,
it's entertaining.
Like I said before my list, all these movies on this list are good movies.
I know.
It's just
I know you think it's good.
Matt, do you feel attacked right now?
It's not overrated.
It is slightly overrated. I just can't stand. Maybe I just don't like Eli Roth. I don't know why, but
probably I agree with you. He is a terrible actor.
It's like when they build him up and they're like, oh, that's the bear Jew in the cave, and then he comes out and they like build up, like you see his profile, like you think it's going to be like an important thing, and then he comes out and hits him. He's like, oh, I just locked that out of Fenway Park, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Stop it!
I'll give you that.
Stop it!
You sound like Mickey Mouse right there.
Hey fellas, I just bashed his fucking skull in. But yeah, that's number 2 for me.
All right.
I think that's all I had.
Okay. Laid it on pretty thick there, fellas. All right, my number 2 is Titanic, another James Cameron movie. Okay. It's just because he's so successful. So
yeah, shit on him.
It made all this money. We all know. Won all those awards. I've seen it. I don't know how many. I had countless times. I mean, if you think about it, it's just a basic love story.
Yeah.
That happens on like one of the most famous tragedies of all time.
4-quadrant movie.
Yeah.
Which means it hits all 4. It appeals to every single age group and hits everything: action, romance, guts.
It does.
Has everything.
But the story itself is basic.
Yes.
It's nothing fancy about it. And what makes me mad as I get older is Jack did all this sacrificing.
Well, of course.
And she came from money. He came from the gutter. He ends up sacrificing himself at the end.
He's used to doing that.
She gets to live a great life.
Of course.
It's terrible.
Well, she was first class, and it was the first class people that actually survived. So,
right.
I mean, it fit.
No, it doesn't fit. That's right. Fuck the poors. They should all drown.
I mean, he should have thought about that before he was poor. And then,
well, the poor. I mean, there was way more poors than riches, so the poor should have overpowered the situation and just.
They should have, yes.
But,
interlocked hands and created a big human boat.
Well, they should have just taken the life rafts from the rich folks.
And I don't know how well I believe that the band played as the ship went down.
Supposedly that actually happened.
Yeah.
That's supposedly a true tidbit. Somebody that survived was like,
relayed that story?
banger.
Like, were they close enough to the boat?
Yeah,
we're like, oh, they're still playing. They're still playing. They get sucked in from the suction of the boat.
Can you imagine the cello guys as the cold Atlantic waters like up their thigh? They're gonna just be like still playing.
Yeah, just playing flawlessly. Like as soon as it like hits their general, it's like, oh fuck!
All the high notes.
Yeah, tragedy is hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I get it's it falls under the I think like the Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption kind of a thing. Vanilla movie, very well done. But Titanic, I mean, because the '90s had a lot of those movies to where they were just, I mean, simple stories, but just very well done stories that seemed to be award darlings or whatever. Like, I mean, because Forrest Gump won Best Picture, and I mean, it's fine.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
There's more going on in it than Titanic.
And Leonardo DiCaprio, mid '90s, like you're gonna sell $1 million right off the rip. You know what I mean? That era for the actors that they had in place, you're gonna be just fine box office wise. Yeah. And
I would argue that the difference between this vanilla bland movie and Shawshank. Shawshank had multiple genres and it was layered, way more layered than Titanic's. Just it's a love story,
true, but
a bland love story,
very competently told.
Absolutely, I agree.
So,
I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
No, I know.
It's just
overrated.
It made it's crazy that how much people love this movie and how much money it made.
Yeah.
Remember when we were kids?
Oh, absolutely.
You went to go see this movie like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
I think about it now. Like, why did we do that? What's so great about this movie?
I think did it win all the Oscars it was nominated for?
13. I think it tied.
We watched this in school as like a school
really?
movie. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they leave in the scene with Kate Winslet.
Yeah. No, of course that got skipped. They had it timed so that like before that scene was the end of class, and then the next day they would start the movie after that scene.
All the boys are just
so we were just like slamming notebooks and cracking rulers.
Everyone's edged by the time they come to school the next day.
All the boys were waiting for that scene. You know, and then they leave class with their trapper keepers.
It's when you take your ruler and you flick it on the desk and you're
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my number 2.
Number 2, Titanic.
Yeah.
Coop. Right. Number 1.
Boondock Saints.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah. Just so much hype around it. I mean, people get the fucking Equios Veritas tattoos, and it's like if you just like Latin and believe in those two pillars, then great, no problem. But if you're getting it because of this fucking movie,
no one's getting that because
mark.
they're into Latin and they love those pillars.
Then I stand by my comment.
And if they are, they're douchey.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody with?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully he's not a listener. But if he is, those are cool.
And his
tattoos.
brother has the other one.
What are they like?
Well, I think Jay pretty well summed them up. Yeah, I mean the acting is terrible in this movie. The writing is subpar. I mean, there's some cool action scenes in it, like when he grabs the toilet and jumps off the roof. Like I've never seen that before. Or anything, like that, like pretty far fetched that he would survive, but cool concept nonetheless. But yeah, the dad gets freed from jail, and he just knows that they're saying this prayer, crossing guns and blowing off heads, and it's like they all just like it's all been synchronized in their dreams or something. I don't know. It's just is not well done.
He's in a prison in Hungary. Is that where he's?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but somehow has two wharf rats over in Boston.
What did they call his nickname? What was his nickname?
El Duce. Yeah.
The douche.
It's so close to douche.
Yeah. They couldn't have come up with anything else. Nothing else.
Yeah. I agree with you. This movie is... me and Jay talked about it earlier.
Yeah. I agree that, when it came out, is extremely overrated. I think a lot of people have realized that the movie
probably. Yeah, hope
except
so. Yeah.
15-year-olds that watch it for the first time.
Yeah.
But
that's what it's made for.
Yeah.
15-year-olds. Yeah.
But all right,
that's it. Yeah,
I agree. That's a good one.
All right.
Oh no, Shawshank's number one.
Yeah, Shawshank's.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it's so terrible.
It's
Jay, number one.
now it's my number one overrated movie.
Okay, yeah, still.
Now the reason why I have it is the number one overrated movie is not because it's not good. It's not because it's not shot well or well written or well acted or has a great score. It's not because of that. It's because it's everyone says it's the best movie ever made, and that is why I say
I wouldn't say
it is overrated.
Yeah,
Not-
I wouldn't.
Everything
say
else
best
is
movie
fine.
Ever made.
It's the best movie ever made.
The vanilla, non-threatening story is perfect. It falls, like I said before, it falls in line with Titanic, Forrest Gump. Really well done movie.
Yep.
Good story. Told
Understatement.
very well. But of all the movies, you have a lot of people that just say, "Oh, this is my favorite movie." I feel like people that say that don't like movies. Not that you don't like movies. I'm just saying you will get more people who have seen. Oh, how many movies you've seen? Oh, I think 5. What's your favorite one? Shawshank Redemption. And it's like I guess it would be the equivalent of I saw something online. This movie is the equivalent of people liking Coldplay.
It's not that bad.
What's wrong with Coldplay?
Exactly. So it's a perfectly fine band. It's not the best band. So, but I guess my
I would say people liking Radiohead. Like people say that Radiohead's their favorite band. It's like, really? Name me a song.
Yeah, kind of. But I feel like you even need to.
No.
I think some people just won't even. Like I was trying to find a band like that. Like it almost have to be like, oh, the Beatles are my favorite band. Wow, what a way to go out on a limb.
Yeah.
It's probably a
kind
better
of a
comparison,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess one thing I was gonna say is like Thriller. Everyone loves the song Thriller.
Yeah.
But it's not the best.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it the best song.
Right.
So and now I think it's the most well liked movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's the most easily accessible movie. And I think it's a good movie.
Why isn't Prison Rape? What's more accessible than that? Right?
He was open.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and the only reason, like I said, that I have as number one overrated is because so many people say, best movie ever made.
I get it.
And that's the only.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean,
suck on it.
but guess, but in its defense, AFI Top 100 Films, it's number.
I was just trying to look it up.
Oh, it's
think
not
it
on
is.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
on
not
there.
on
Okay.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well as any other well-respected film list of best movies ever made. Shawshank is not on there.
Why is that?
I don't know. I didn't make the list. But but it is number one on IMDb 250. So it's the movie of the people.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the best movie is. I think it's always it's so subjective anyways, because I mean these lists don't fucking matter, but like maybe liking Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
It's like the white girl movie.
Okay.
You know, when I don't know.
I guess I see what
Appeals
you're
to the
saying.
masses. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not poppy, but
You're saying you're not a man of the people. Yeah, I get it.
I need to be contrarian just because I feel like it makes me feel cooler.
It makes me feel good.
But no, I feel like the best movie though is like always evolving. Like I don't know what it would be right now. Maybe it's something that came out 30 years ago. Maybe it's something that came out 15 years ago or something until the next thing. But yeah.
Yep.
That's my number one.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What do you got, man?
My number one is Black Panther.
See, that is my honorable mention.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen it.
Yeah. I remember going in to watch this because I'm a fan of the MCU from Iron Man to Endgame. I thought that what they did was incredible.
And Scarlet Witch.
It was what's that?
And you like Scarlet Witch?
I mean, she's good. Yeah, she's good. But like just the undertaking of this whole idea, they executed it very well. But the praise, and at the time when this was released, third highest grossing movie ever, which astonished me.
Yeah, it felt.
And the fact that people were like, "This is the best superhero movie ever made," so I'm going into it like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch this."
Yeah, and it wasn't even.
And
close.
it was fine.
Yeah,
And
it was just another.
fine.
It's just another Marvel movie.
Yes. And it doesn't even make my top 5 MCU movies.
No,
like at all. People are like, "Oh, Wakanda's amazing," and it showed it on screen. And I'm like,
it's made up.
Guardians of the Galaxy had better set design and was more creative than Wakanda. I've seen, and it looks like Star Wars or something. There's nothing special about it.
It's just as a futuristic city.
Yeah, the villain in it is bland as fuck.
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan's fine, but the story of the rivalry between the two, like, I didn't care.
No,
it was fine.
Like there wasn't even really a rivalry there. Like, Chad Boseman is already he's the man.
Yeah,
like Michael B. Jordan's just kind of the little bitch who's like barking behind him at this point.
And the whole journey from where he starts to, excuse me, when he finally gets to Wakanda to overtake the throne, I was confused how he even got there. Like, how did you get the resources to get from point A to point B? It felt like and then this happens instead of therefore this happens storytelling. It's like, and then this happens. Oh, and then this happens. Yeah. There's no rhyme or reason of how we got there. The action was fine. I mean, I've seen it 1,000 times in other Marvel movies. Nothing stood out to me. Yeah. And it was just fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best.
I would agree.
It's not the best superhero movie ever made.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree, and I haven't even seen it.
Right.
So
you should watch it one time just for the mediocrity. Yeah.
And because the closest I got was before Infinity War came out.
Yeah.
And I asked a coworker of mine, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't seen Black Panther. Do I need to go?" Because I think it was in theaters still. Like it was like they were coming out close, or maybe it just had come out on.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Do I need to buy it? Do I need to rent it? Do I need to do something to watch it?" Because I was going to go see, because I hadn't seen that, or I think Captain Marvel, or I think I did see Captain Marvel, but I was like, "Oh, do I need to go see it?" No, you don't need to go see it. And because he had already seen Infinity War, and I was like, "Am I missing something?" He's like, "No, you don't need it. You've seen Civil War." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you're fine." Yeah. And I was like, "All right." He's like, "They show Wakanda in Infinity War. That's about it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Which is kind of the only reason why I wanted to see Black Panther, anyways, because I wanted to see Wakanda on screen.
Sure.
But that's what I heard. It was like, yeah, that's fine. But then everyone's saying, "Oh," and then it got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
like fuck off.
No.
Fuck off.
Not even close.
And it's pity points.
Yeah, it's pandering.
It's all it is. And I would be pissed because Ryan Coogler, did he direct Black Panther?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Did he also direct Creed?
Yes.
Creed is a hell of a lot better movie
Then Black Panther. I would agree.
than Black Panther.
Yeah.
And again, still haven't seen Black Panther. But if I was Ryan Coogler, I'd kind of be irritated to where, like, what the fuck? Like, it'd almost feel like you guys are praising this overtly.
Yeah.
I feel like just because everyone's black in it.
Yeah.
And everyone's got to praise it because no one wants to appear racist or be called out or whatever. I'd be... And what won? Green Book that year?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. How's that for fucking Hollywood?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to throw you a bone, Black Panther, and nominate you for Best Picture, but we're going to give it to Green Book. You know, the one half a director of Dumb and Fucking Dumber, starring Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali, to where Viggo Mortensen introduces fried chicken to Mahershala Ali and saves Mahershala Ali and solves racism because he's white, and white people save the day again. Like, fuck off. Like, it's like the same industry does that, and it makes sense then.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm happy you brought up the Oscar nominations. I'm going to rattle off these noms that it received, and then the wins. It was nominated for 7 Oscars. An MCU movie was nominated for 7 Oscars. Best Picture, Best Original Song, Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing. It won for Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, Best Original Score. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I can maybe see costume design, but like production design,
Yeah.
it looks like every other MC.
It's all
all
CG.
green
It's
screen.
blatantly
Yeah.
green
Computer
screen, CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best original score. It's like they intermingle
Hum
the
the-
same
hum the
score in
song.
every single
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're gonna nominate Black Panther, why wouldn't you nominate Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor?
Yeah, because during that time, there's videos on YouTube making fun of the score of Marvel movies, to where it's just generic,
Yeah.
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 bland shit
Yeah.
that no one can pinpoint. They're like, oh, hum Star Wars, and people are doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hum Harry Potter, do Star Trek, do this, do that. And they're like, do the Iron Man theme.
Yeah.
And they're like,
There really isn't one. Yeah.
there isn't one
Yeah.
because the music sucks balls.
Yeah.
And Michael Giacchino. But until Alan Silvestri did it for Endgame, and I think he did it for Infinity War. But even that music is still like, it's bland.
Yeah.
Like it's not recognizable. But what other movies were nominated that year?
For score,
No, for Best Picture.
I'm looking at it right now. Here we go. You're correct. Green Book won, and there's Black Klansman, which is a great movie. Have you seen
That probably should have won.
Bohemian Rhapsody, which I liked. The Favorite, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. Did you ever watch Vice?
No.
I didn't. Is that Paul Thomas Anderson?
No, it's the one. It's Adam McKay's Dick Cheney movie.
Oh,
Oh, I did see that. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of
That was pretty
Inherent
funny.
Vice.
Yeah.
That was the Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah,
No, is Vice any good?
it's pretty good. Yeah,
No.
yeah, it's fine.
I'd watch it again.
Yeah,
It's a lot like The Big Short.
Black Klansman should have won.
That's a great movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't even have. I think it's a little preachy from Spike. Spike Lee
Little
always. There's
He
like
goes
they're
a-
walking
yeah.
through that
Yeah.
boardwalk place in
Yeah.
the woods or something. That's the only portion. I thought he was going to be able to do the whole movie without doing that.
He
shit,
can't help
but
himself.
He can't.
Can't.
It's fine.
it's fine.
But no, that movie probably should have won.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely over Green Book and.
I mean, I think Bohemian Rhapsody is a better movie than Black Panther. That was good.
Oh, I saw Bohemian. It's fine.
I mean,
well, yeah. There you
it's
go.
more memorable.
Yeah.
And then I thought A Star Is Born was better than Black Panther.
I haven't seen that yet.
That's a good
I
movie.
I like the song.
Yeah.
Was it
I
Shallow?
mean, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga are really good in it, so it's good.
But no, I agree, and I was gonna have Black Panther on my list because that is truly like overrated.
yeah.
And
It truly is.
But I hadn't seen it, so I was like, I really can't
Yeah.
speak to it, even though I will still let my opinion known because fuck it, no one cares.
Right.
But yeah, it's the pandering and it's the yeah, good job, we're gonna give you an Oscar nomination to where,
But
yeah,
not
if
let you win.
If
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
Ryan Coogler, I'd just be pissed. I'd just be like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Like, stop treating me like a child, or like, oh,
Yeah.
it's the first black superhero movie. Like, I felt like it was just all that, and just the overt bullshit praise for something that is just fine.
It's fine.
That would piss me off more as a creator than just some people saying, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Coogler, obviously, he's working for Marvel at this point. He's not going to have a lot of artistic license.
No,
Right.
he's not. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just kind of there in the seat.
But
Well, yeah. Even if he does work for Marvel, still, he needs to get the hell out of there because that place is burning down,
Yeah.
fast.
it's on fire.
It's on fire. But yeah, that's my number one.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
All right.
Yeah, good
what
choice.
other honorable mentions did you guys have? Nothing?
I didn't. Yeah.
You didn't have any? I
Came
had...
unprepared for class.
Brokeback Mountain was an honorable mention for me. You guys ever seen that movie?
I have not.
No.
Wait, you guys didn't see the gay romance movie where,
Missed
where
it.
Jake Gyllenhaal just gets hammered?
Missed it.
I was going to put... I was going to put
On my
Crash...
to-do list.
I was going to put Crash on my list because that was in the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were pissed that movie won instead of
Brokeback
Mountain. Yeah, Crash is not good. That's
No,
why
I didn't
leave,
like that movie
That's why I
either.
didn't
Yeah.
put it on my list because I think a lot of people are looking back on it now and are like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best movie. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain, so I don't know if it's good.
It's fine.
It's I mean,
It's
it's Ang
not-
Lee, although Ang Lee did Hulk, and
Yeah.
that was a shot.
It's an honorable mention because I remember after watching it thinking, I don't understand why this is so, like, beloved. I'm like,
Because it's just two gay dudes back.
It's a I mean, it's
what's
a
the-
love story, but there's nothing. The only difference between this and like other love stories is the guys are gay.
And what's the
and they're
time?
cowboys.
What's the time of the? Is this
It's
like
1950s?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like way before.
And they're both married.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're confronting
risque,
they're confronting their gayness.
and that's
It's
the
like,
thing to where like
that's not really that
Academy
interesting to me.
and award places or award ceremonies would always give the accolades to movies that are doing that because, well, it's the subject matter. Like, no, it's got to be the fucking the movie
Yeah.
is up for an award, not what the story did. If you want the story, sure, and they wrote a great screenplay, then award the screenplay.
Yeah.
Don't like it can't be like the subject matter, and I think that's probably culturally that's why it was. I mean, same
Oh, for
thing.
sure.
Same thing with Black Panther. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, it's the first superhero movie with an African American lead, Blade. Hell, Steel.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, but it was kind of like that to where it's like, oh, the subject matter. Or I mean, that's why everyone comes out with a movie about somebody in World War II
Yeah.
during award season, or someone like trying to learn how to read, or like
Slavery.
slavery, or
Civil rights.
white people solving racism,
Yeah.
or a white lady helping a black guy learn how to play football. There's, all these great cinematic masterpieces that are just so awesome.
Have you guys seen the outtakes for Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis? Where he talks to John Legend about La La Land. Because I guess John Legend wrote some music for that movie. He goes, "So, John, can you tell me, are you excited that La La Land is getting so much praise that helps explain jazz music to black people?" Yeah, it's the Hollywood pandering for you. That's for sure. But Brokeback Mountain, it was fine. I mean, there's nothing that stands out. It's just a generic like love story. I mean, I understood if like Heath Ledger is really good in it. It's like if he won Best Actor,
I want because
sure.
it's kind of
like The Joker.
It's kind of like a Western feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch that just for that reason, because I wanted to see Ang Lee kind of do like a Western motif kind of.
It's got like pacing like a Western, if I remember right. I've only seen it one time. It's been a long time, but like it's kind of like The Joker for me, where like the acting's really good. I can see it being warranted an Oscar nom for that, but like Joker shouldn't be nominated for Best Picture, and neither should Brokeback Mountain. It's fine story wise, but there's nothing.
It was the subject matter.
It's fine. It's just it's kind of like Titanic. It's like, okay, I get it. It's like a generic. There's nothing that stands out other than they're gay.
And that's what kills me sometimes is, I mean, I get exposure, I get bringing, especially because back then, I mean, gay stories weren't mainstream.
Yeah,
weren't told by Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
It was more independent films that would tackle that. So I could see them like bringing it into the spotlight, the representation. I understand all that stuff, but it does a disservice to. Are you propping up the message, or are you propping up the actual movie? Because it should be the movie. Like,
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like Bros. Remember that movie that came
I
out
didn't
last
see
year?
it. Did you see it?
Yeah,
Is it good?
it's fine.
Oh, God damn it!
It's like every other like gross out Judd Apatow.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same kind of. It's again.
I thought
There's nothing that
wasn't like
stands out.
It wasn't a romantic comedy or anything.
Kind of, yeah. But there's nothing that stands out other than they're gay. Like it's just different other than any other like rom-com like crass comedy that you've seen. It's like no, it's pretty much the same formula except this time they're gay. Nothing really stands out. Dude, there's a lot of like orgy scenes in that movie.
Oh,
So-
really?
And
I better check it
Bros.
out. And Bros? Huh? Where's that streaming? Cool.
yeah, watching it with Nicole, she was like, Are you enjoying yourself? I was like, not at all.
A little awkward.
I could go without this.
You answered wrong. Like you should have like, are you enjoying yourself? I also had I had Forrest Gump as a honorable mention. I had Green Book on there, but I didn't have Green Book because I don't think no one talks about that movie anymore.
No.
It was like
Said my mom.
Yeah, your mom
Loves her some Green Book.
Gladiator I had on there, but I had only seen it once.
Okay.
And I was going to try and rewatch at least Gladiator. I didn't get around to it because I kind of fell into.
We should do Is Gladiator really that good?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're wrong. That movie is
It's
awesome.
so good.
That's a great movie. You need new eyes on that.
Yeah, I think so.
You've lost your mind.
You want to do
How-
that next
how-
week?
Yeah, we should
yeah.
next
Do
week.
it next week?
Yeah.
How long ago did you watch it?
I don't know. I can't get past Russell Crowe.
Like 10 plus years. Like when it first came
Oh,
out.
it was a while ago. It was I was probably in college maybe. So it came out what 2000. Mm-hmm. So
Me and Coop can sit here and just scold you.
Yeah.
I also had The Last Jedi on there,
Oh yeah, that movie.
but I think everyone's slowly realizing that
Yeah.
I was gonna say
That
people
whole
like,
trilogy
People
is-
like The Last Jedi.
when it first came out because they're like, oh, well, everyone that was like pulling Ryan Johnson's pud was like, oh yeah, it subverts expectations, and I'm like, no, it's shitty storytelling.
Yeah.
And I was
It's a
like,
New Hope with a woman.
but everyone's
Make
like,
her
oh,
gay.
they're like they did something different with Star Wars. I was like, yeah, if they wanted to do that, they should have done that with Episode 7, not the movie that's supposed to be in the middle of a trilogy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
we started from scratch 2 movies in a row, and because after I saw that, I knew they had no plan and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
And it made me just stop watching Star
Yeah.
Wars. But killed a love for me. It fucking stabbed it right in the goddamn heart.
George Lucas
old Mickey.
should buy it back
Oh, Mickey.
God, I hope he
and start from scratch.
He should. Yeah, but yeah, that was my honorable mentions.
Nice.
I almost had Empire Strikes Back on there.
Wow, really?
Okay.
I mean, it's a fine movie, but everyone's like, and I'm like, it's a half a movie.
It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's a half. I mean, it has a lot of my favorite parts in it. But
Yeah.
it's still a half a movie. It doesn't have a conclusion because it
That's why I like it so much.
just leaves it open.
Leaves it open.
Leaves it open.
I
I had
love it.
Citizen Kane, but I took that off because.
Nobody else has seen it but you.
No, I mean it's just one of those. The people talk about it because of the
Yeah.
filmmaking techniques that it did,
Yeah.
and that's warranted. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like it's still the. It's
It's no one's favorite movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if it is your favorite movie, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Unless you like it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We're not struggling for listeners, by the way.
No, we're not.
At all.
No,
We-
it's
we have
Nah,
tens.
it's fine.
Yeah, fuck it.
There's tens of them.
Tens.
Tens.
It's all our families. That's it.
That's it. Are we doing Gladiator next week?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, so we were going to do something, but yeah, join us next time as we change. I wrote as we change lanes to underrated films, but I'll just cross that off. Join us next time as we go back to Is It Really That Good?
Yeah.
As we talk about Gladiator, the 2001, not the
2000.
yeah,
Jesus.
2000. It's 24 years old. Directed by
Still good.
Sir Ridley Scott. Fucking. God. He had one good movie.
No.
No, he's had a few.
I almost sent you an article. I forget what I think it was somewhere, but it was like the inconsistency of Ridley Scott. And I was like, God, if that's not a title of an article I can read. I was trying to find a share link and I couldn't get it.
You could do a whole show on
I
that.
don't think he's the salt of the earth, better than sliced bread.
I've
he's
seen your
good.
bed sheets, and it's just a giant face of him on your
Yeah.
comforter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be next week as we discuss as we get into the Christmas spirit and see if Gladiator is really that good. So, till next time, Matt.
Till next time, Coop.
Till next time, Jay.
Till next time, Coop.
Doctor.
Till next time.
Doctor.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Okay.